dangerous part of last night against the Sharks is that's going to happen all year if you don't button it up and really get attentive to the details. There were positives. You saw, Mika one-timer goal in the power play. It was a nice power play goal.
The couple times that's connected
Yeah.
after what felt like an entire season of it never connecting. What is up in the Blue Seats fans? We are back with another episode of your favorite Rangers podcast from the New York Post. As always, it's Mollie Walker and former Rangers favorite Brian Boyle. Some of you might have seen the Post release a statement on our dear colleague Larry Brooks. He will be taking a leave of absence to address a medical issue. So if everybody could please keep Larry in your thoughts and prayers, that would be much appreciated. Send him all the love and well wishes, and I am sure he'll be back with us very soon. But the Rangers have played 4 games since we last spoke. They went 1-1-2. The 2 overtime losses were to the Maple Leafs in Toronto and then the Sharks last night at MSG. They are still winless at home, but at least last night they were able to break open offensively with 5 goals.
Yeah.
So
Goals.
we'll
Yay.
we'll whoop-de-doo that. Brian, I can't tell you how many people have asked me if there's a world where you can lace up the skates and go out there and get this team a win at home. So you think you could do that, or
You know what? A funny story. We have a charity game on November 1st. The coaches for my son's program all play a
Mhm.
big charity game. There's 4 teams. I haven't skated a bunch because I've been down here in Jersey working. I hopped into practice with my 10-year-old team and I was doing some of the drills. And, that was Tuesday. We're recording this, yeah, Friday. My hips are still cooked. So we're gonna see how those respond. Took a long look in the mirror on Thursday, being like, "What happened to you, you old
Where have you
man?"
gone? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at, and this league and these little young whippersnappers are just too fast. So I apologize as much as I'd
I
love to.
I think you could do it. I think you could do it, honestly, Brian. I really do. I think you could go ahead and hit somebody right now.
I need a 10-foot
Um,
stick.
all right. So starting with this 6-5 overtime loss to the Sharks. For me, I think aside from the opener, this was the most alarming loss for me for a few reasons. I mean, the last two really, but
Yeah.
focusing on the Sharks game here. Number one being it was a pretty slow start for them. I mean, they were down 3-1 going into the second period, and it was another super late goal right before the horn. I think Celebrini scored with like 8.2 seconds left or something like that. And 2-1 and 3-1 are just so different. And it's a gut punch
Yeah.
every single time.
I don't
I
know.
mean, then they go and they do it again at the
Yeah.
end of the second period, too, to the same player. We were just saying before we get a body on him. Have
Yeah.
you seen the way he's
Yeah.
playing tonight? Get a body on him. But obviously, that one allowed the Sharks to tie it up 4-4 before the third period, before Will Smith won it in overtime. But I was also concerned with JT Miller's assessment of the team not respecting their opponent enough. And I get it's the Sharks, but this team hasn't done anything yet this season that would warrant them to act that way, if that's true. What stood out to you in the Sharks game?
Yeah. Zoom out and yeah, I agree with you. Game one was a stinker, and whatever. That's basically
Happens.
an eternity ago now.
Yes.
I was really concerned with their game against Minnesota. They really didn't get much done at all. Minnesota just looked faster,
Hmm.
looked a little stronger, more determined, and so not great. And Mike Sullivan said as much. This one was sloppy. And it was 3-1, and it was like you said, yeah, a gut punch. At no point though was I like this game's gonna end 3-2 or 4-1. It's gonna break open.
Just keep
It
going. Yeah.
has to. And you saw it did. And then you think, all right, you're a veteran enough team to sort of learn your lesson. And then the second period, that breakdown again. And what I saw on that one, and even the first one too, like there's a little bit of luck involved. And right now you have to be so committed to very small details when it's not going perfectly that the first period goal, you just have to exit the zone. You have to clear the zone. You have a lefty on the right
Get
side
it out.
in Cooley, You had Sherry out in the neutral zone, maybe to forecheck if it did get out, expecting it to get out. I'm okay with that because he's a winger. And then Carrick just changed. I think he was going above the puck to get the chip, to maybe chip it again. It didn't get chipped. Maybe he thought they had possession to go back. And even after all that, okay, a couple mistakes, they still had numbers. But Macklin Celebrini got a shot off. It goes off for Robertson again for his second assist of the game, putting it in his own net. But that, I mean, that happens too. And you just wonder, like, that could have been avoided. The bad bounce could have not happened at all. And so, what I liked about them when they weren't scoring was their structure and attention to detail. And there were some bad bounces that I guess you just put your hands in the palms to the sky and be like, hey, like, this
Yeah.
is what happened. And it's not going to happen like that all year. The dangerous part of last night against the Sharks is that's going to happen all year if you don't button it up and really get attentive to the details. There were positives. You saw, Mika one-timer goal in the power play. It was a nice power play goal.
A couple times that's connected
Yeah.
after what felt like an entire season of it never connecting.
Yeah. I mean, and this year he could have 8 or 9 because he's been
Yeah.
so snake bit. I mean, that's a big positive.
Hmm.
Igor continues to be, I
Yeah.
know he's given up some, but like, what are you can't really fault him for any.
No.
Will Smith can shoot a hockey puck. That was
So
that was
can
one
Macklin
of
Celebrini.
that was one of my takeaways. Mac and Celebrini can flat out play hockey, and he's going to get a long look if he continues this two-way play for the Canadian Olympic team. He's going to
Yeah.
get. I don't know if he's going to make it, but he's going to be sniffing around, and that kid
Hmm.
is a superstar.
What a
Uh,
release
I
on
know.
him.
Yeah,
It's like electric. It's instant.
it's it's impressive, and where he can get it off through traffic and how he plays, it's impressive. Now, I'll say this: when you want to play with structure and you want to play a certain game, there's an understanding that the team you're playing against also plays with such structure, and I don't know if San Jose really does. They might go rogue a little bit, and it's hard to play and get much done. But so you have to play a more patient game. That's hard to do when you've scored 1 goal in 4 games at home. So I can sort of see it. And look, I'm not making excuses. I just think that this team exercised some demons in scoring last night. They got a point last night. They're still not where they want to be. I know Mike Sullivan doesn't think they're where they want to be and
Still
needs
early.
some answers. It is still very early. And there's a lot of teams, good teams, playoff teams that you think are going to be playoff teams that are figuring themselves out right now. I mean, look at Tampa. They can't win.
Hmm.
They were at home,
Hmm.
lost to Chicago.
Hmm.
Yikes.
Hmm.
So we're not
I
there. We're not there yet.
yeah, no, I definitely not. Um I liked what Sullivan had to say last night. I maintain that I feel like Sullivan really just he has a really good pulse on this
Hmm.
team and what they need. And I just feel like I mean, I asked him a question last night about the two late goals, which is a question I have asked in different variations to so many different players and Peter Laviolette on multiple occasions last season. And I asked him what he attributed it to, and Sullivan gave a very, very pointed answer. He called it's just a lack of awareness, situational play, managing the game the right way, controlling those situations is how you win. We obviously have to learn how to win, which I totally agree with. I feel like that's something that this team needs to work on is finishing, closing out games more than anything. And
Hmm.
that's a problem that I feel like has carried over from last season.
Grade A on the third period with like 9 seconds left. There's a face
Yeah.
off. It's like,
Yeah. You got to buckle down.
just happened twice.
Yeah, you
So
gotta, right? You gotta, I
yeah.
mean, the way that JT Miller was saying, I think it was after the Minnesota game, gotta bear down.
Yeah.
Bear down in those situations. Sullivan was also asked if this is a wake-up call as the team is now going on this Western Canada trip. And he said it should be. It
Mhm.
should be because I look at our last two outings and that's not the game that we want to put on the ice every night that we think will give us a chance to win. That's for sure. You can't play two-thirds of the game or half of the game and
Yeah.
think you're going to win consistently. The last two games, that's what we did. I mean, this is nothing new for this team. That's kind of been an issue for them, not even just last season, but also before. They were a bunch of games, regardless of how good they were overall. They always had this problem that would crop up where they just wouldn't give 100% for an entire game and it would get away from them.
Yeah, a little lapsed in certain areas. It's got to be frustrating because it's one play here and there, right? And guys can
Right.
play so well. It's just how it's going right now. You have to look, it's the results. The results matter, and you are kind of what your record says you are. That's where they're at. I just think, they have the ability to be so much more than that.
Yeah.
And this is where Mike Sullivan's going to earn his money because he's got a great way of, you know, sort of putting the antennas up of everybody and also empowering them to like he can simplify different spots. He can talk to the players and whether it's the lines, bring a
Hmm.
line in. If he's going to move lines around, bring a line in. This is exactly what's expected of you. And just do this, and this will check this box and make sure this is what your focus is in the next couple of games. And then the next line will come in, and then he goes right down. And some of that is across the board. All the lines will have to deal with certain things that is non-negotiable for the whole team, but then he'll simplify it, especially guys who might be like searching I'm not playing great. This isn't me. I want to do more. I want to do this. He'll simplify it to give you, you know, a better understanding or just a singular focus where you can kind of block everything else out and just try to work on that. Then you go to practice, then you get on the road and then you do it. So I'm confident that that's something that they'll do. There's a couple of guys there's a couple new guys that are just still trying to figure out their way or figure out the chemistry of whether it's their D partner or some of their
Hmm.
line mates. But I think by and large, I mean, they've played a lot of good minutes.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's annoying when the fans can't go home happy. When you're
Yeah.
at home, you got to get some dubs.
Yeah. And this is where I think team mentality is going to be the most important thing for this Rangers team. I
Yeah.
think I wrote it as a column after the season opener, which obviously was a dud, that, you know, their team mentality is what hindered them so much last season. It was just a soft victim kind of team
Defeated. Yeah.
mentality. Yeah,
Yeah.
defeated. And I totally agree with you where they have every right to think higher of themselves than what their records show because of their body of work that
Yeah.
they've put forth so far. It's just a matter of sticking, riding it out, sticking with it, and not letting the doubts creep in, keeping the confidence up, because that was detrimental to this team last season. It just like weighed so much heavier on them than a regular loss would just because of the mentality, it seemed. So I feel like that's where you said Sullivan and also JT Miller,
Yeah.
and I think JT really, if you've listened to any of his post game press conferences, he tells it exactly like it is and exactly what he's thinking, and he does not hold back. And I think that's a good thing for this team. I think that he puts things into perspective. He's got a way with words in that kind of way. I think that's a positive for this Rangers team.
Right. And he knows too, like he's just honest, I think, and he knows that it's the New York Rangers. So Rangers fans aren't dumb. They've been, a lot of them's great grandparents were fans of the Rangers. That's the greatest part of playing in New York. These people have been
Right.
fans of this team for 100 years,
Hmm.
literally. And if his teammates are listening too, sometimes you can use the post-game scrum to just be like, look, this is what we are. Not offending anybody. It's just what we
Hmm.
are. This is the problem, or this is what was good in the game, and this is who I like. You can do a number of different things in those, and the fans get to hear about it. He'll tell the truth though. That guy's not going to beat around the bush.
Yes, and we love that about JT Miller over here on the
We
media
do.
side for sure. All right, a positive in this Sharks game was Taylor Raddysh, hat trick. Now
My
he's got
God.
4 goals in 9 games. He's +3 too. What have you seen from Taylor Raddysh to start the season? I feel like he's someone that we really haven't touched on a lot. He's kind of been on that third line.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a solid pro. And So maybe I am more sensitive to sort of Taylor Raddysh because when you're like a bottom six guy and your team's it's not going perfect for your team and you got some shiny toys that are trying to develop in the minors and you're not really lighting up the score sheet because it's just not your role. You're not like on the power play, you're not putting a ton of
Right,
positions to do certain things. Like you could play really solid hockey for a month and people would be like, what are we doing with this guy?
right.
Like he doesn't. And so, a great example is playing against a team like the Sharks, who might play a little freewheel and who might not have the perfect structure. Fun team to watch, but he was stubborn in how he played. His first goal was a great forecheck. It was a misread by Will Smith kind of going down. He gets it at the blue line. The puck's rolling. The best part of that first goal was him just handling the bouncing puck at the blue line at MSG. And like, I love Madison Square Garden. I love playing
Yeah.
there. The ice, not
Horrible,
perfect.
I've
Not
heard.
perfect. Not great. It's on the fifth floor. It's like heat's coming up. It's above a train station. Just this, the math.
So
Oh,
mathing.
yeah. So I mean, and that's big at home to score a goal. Anybody to score a goal at home right now was big. And so it's him and it's who's it? Oh, 14, nice. And then he gets another one on a great release, on a great play where it's an odd man rush. He wants to pass, he wants to pass, he puts it in a perfect spot. And then
Mhm.
I don't know if there's a better feeling in the world than barreling down the wing and taking a slap shot shelf, blowing it by an NHL goalie, and being a hat trick goal. Like
Yeah,
that must have felt unbelievable for him.
yeah.
All just, good. Well, the first goal is a smart goal. It kind of got a little lucky. And then the next two were just beautiful goals. So I'm happy for him because,
Mhm.
he could go 8 or 9 games without another goal. He could score next game. Or he could get hot. And maybe his role changes because the talent's there. He's a second round pick. But he's settled into this sort of role. I think that's a pretty a pretty good sign for the Rangers. They've had top end talent for a little while now. And, with the emergence of the fourth line, which we can get into, it kind of got shifted. But, like Mike Sullivan knows that fourth line could do what that fourth line can do. If you get a little from that third line, like
Secondary scoring, they
now you
need it.
have the depth, and they haven't had a ton of that in the past. You had some Will Cooley last year, and then now he's kind of elevated. So it's like who's
Hmm.
filling his spot? Now
Hmm.
we can that makes the team better. So that's a big night, and people should be excited because hat tricks aren't easy to get in the NHL.
No, only his second in his career, I'm pretty sure.
He has one
This,
already?
yeah, it was a second.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
Number two. Yep.
I should know that. That's
Um,
my sort of my job.
yeah, it's okay. That's what I'm here for. Um, it's funny that you mentioned the ice. I remember sometime last season watching an opposing team get onto the ice and hearing the guys being like, "Ah, yeah, this is terrible."
Yes.
One step on just being up, terrible as always.
The
I
boards
was
are the
like,
boards are a little funky.
yeah.
We saw that on the fifth goal,
Hmm.
the game winner.
Hmm.
Sixth goal. How many goals? Was there 11 goals?
There
There
was
was
11 goals in
the
total.
sixth goal for the 11th goal, the sixth goal for San Jose. It was
The
a
final goal.
cycle down and it just kind of stopped and Celebrini reacted. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it really
Play.
was.
But yeah.
Ah, c'est la vie. All right, another positive, kind of positive, not really a positive. Matt Rempe, Ryan Reaves, fight night at the Garden, center
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because we were talking to Rempe earlier in the day, and he was talking about how his goal coming into the season was to gain the trust of the coaching staff, and it's so clear that he
Yeah.
has. I mean, I said it during training camp after that Devils game that Matt Rempe had won over Mike Sullivan in
Yeah.
that moment in the span of that 60-minute game. Um, but it's so clear how much more Sullivan trusts Rempe than Peter Laviolette ever did. I mean, between the power play two reps, the increased ice time, and he's working with it.
Yeah.
He's improving, and we're finally getting to see what it looks like when he gets regular shifts, which I think is something that we all were kind of hoping to see because it wasn't
Yeah.
that he wasn't getting any of that, and you couldn't tell what he was as an actual player rather than just this guy that comes in and fights.
Yeah. I mean, it's been it's impressive. And hopefully it's not, too long term. He had to leave the game, and
Yeah.
that's big boy hockey. That's a veteran guy who was going to fight on his own terms, and Ryan Reaves. That was why Ryan Reaves is who he is. I mean, he got to get a good lick on Parsonen and then decided, I mean, his gloves were off before he even knew if Rempe was next to him. And that's just an awareness that Ryan Reaves has.
Yeah.
He's a smart individual. Rangers fans know him. And, he kind of made Rempe think about it for a little bit, then got a licking on another guy, then, fought the big man and did well early. I think the impressive thing for Matt Rempe is he took a couple early, which probably is what caused him to leave, but hung in and got a few himself.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I got a lot of respect. It's not easy to do, and he has gotten better. It's great for your confidence, but physically, like the actual physical motion and playing becomes a lot easier if you get 4 or 5 shifts a period as opposed to one or two or three.
Hmm.
It's just it's like doing a workout and then sitting down for 25 minutes and then getting
Right.
back into a high intensity workout. And your leg seize up a lot quicker. When you stay moving, especially as a big man, you can start doing things. And then you'll see more patience when he gets into positions with the puck because he has reps. He's right, early in the air, he's hurrying things a little bit because he gets so
Hmm.
excited you have a scoring chance.
Right.
You can kind of bring your heart rate down a little when that puck comes after more reps. So hopefully it's not long term because he's a big element for them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was talking about how it allows him to feel the game better, you're
Yeah.
more involved. Um, and I feel like we've been able to see that from him. I really do feel like he looks like a different player out there. Um,
Think about the ice. Like the first 5 minutes of a period in the middle of in the last whatever, it gets worse. So if you haven't touched it in a while, then you go on the ice. First of all, you're cold, and then you're like, this ice is terrible.
yeah.
People don't realize like you step on bad ice for the first time. If you're going through it each shift, it gets a little worse. It's like you can feel it. If you sit there forever and then you have to go on
Yeah.
it, you're like, what is this? And then when you're 6'9", it's probably like, we get an ice cup.
Right. And for him too, he was, you know, he's such a ball of energy too that in those circumstances, when he did get his chance to go on the ice, he was erratic, because he just wanted to do something, wanted to
Yeah.
make an impact, wanted to, and that probably played a role into the hits that were a little out of control and things like that. So,
Playing a whole
um,
game in one shift, like
yeah,
it's
right,
not easy.
right. It's not easy, but I think that Sullivan showing, that he has
Hmm.
trust in him. And I mean, it also is beneficial for the lineup as a whole because it just balances out the ice time a little bit. I think that
Yeah.
was a really big emphasis for Mike Sullivan coming into this season.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've seen that on the ice time sheets, just balancing the ice time out because, managing workloads of certain players that double on both the power play and the penalty kill, you need to be able, you only dressing a certain amount of guys, you need to be able to trust them.
It's so fast.
What's the point? What's the point
Right.
if you're not going to trust them and not play them?
It's so fast too. The game is so fast. You can't play 3 lines.
Yeah,
You can't hammer down on 2 guys, especially center iceman. So yeah, it's a good approach. We've seen, I think we've seen more energy. We've seen more structure. They looked more like themselves from 2 years ago than what we saw at the end of last year.
yeah. Well, the Rangers did make a call to Hartford, and it's Brennan Othman, which is a very notable recall. If you guys didn't see, Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman reported that Brennan Othman was drawing interest around the league because there's a belief that his time in New York is coming to an end. So instead of maybe Brett Berard or Gabe Perreault, the Rangers might want to be showcasing Brennan Othman a little bit here. Perhaps that's one of their dual reasons for getting Brennan Othman up here, but it doesn't really it's not an encouraging sign for Matt Rempe if they're making this recall. So um,
Well,
we'll see.
a long travel.
Yeah, yeah, they're crossing the border, and
Yeah.
yeah.
We talked about that sort of
Hmm.
with, you know, I think Robertson's call up when they went up to
No, it was
Uh,
Morrow, Scott
Sorry,
Morrow.
Morrow. Yeah, Morrow's
Yeah.
called. Morrow, yes. And
Hmm.
what's going on here is everybody dinged up. Anyways, yeah, you need insurance. You need some bodies.
Yeah.
You get there, what if someone's sick?
Hmm.
And then what if, so yeah, that's a smart play. And for Othman, they're not scoring a ton down in Hartford either. The
Yeah.
team as a
It's
whole.
been a tough start for Hartford.
Yeah. See if you can add a spark. Look, at this point, you never know when it kind of clicks, but if you just go in with like, I got nothing to lose,
Yeah.
and things could bounce your way and it could take off. It could be just between the ears.
Yeah. No, I think Othman needs a little bit of that,
Yeah.
what's there to lose. It's so hard for these top picks. I can't even imagine the pressure, the internal pressure, just the feeling that what you should be doing and what you're not doing. So, I mean,
It's
if you're an intellectual player, if you're, between the ears a lot, it's gonna impact you. And I mean, for Brennan Othman, he went from being among the last cuts in training camp, the previous two training camps, to he was sent back pretty early
yeah.
this season because there was just nothing there. And when you got a guy like Noah Laba who just took the bull by the horns and, made it
Yeah.
impossible for anybody to ignore him, it was a pretty easy decision for the Rangers to make there. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's kind of, why not? Why not now?
I get it. Like he's a high pick, but that's over and done with. Like you can't
Hmm.
change where you were picked.
Hmm.
Just you have to figure out your role as how you can be an effective NHLer if that's the goal. Like, that's as someone who's come through in a pretty good draft and was drafted higher than people expected. It took time, and everyone knew it took time. They weren't really rushing me, but I was 22 when I figured out the American League. It's different, but it's humbling when you get up and you're like, all right, I'm lighting up the second best league. They're going to put me in a spot, and they're like, no, you're a penalty killer now. Never killed a penalty in my life. At forward, that's what I did because it's like you're not a top six centerman.
Right.
And I was like, that's okay. Let's figure this out. Face offs and blocking shots. And let's say they're traded for me because we played against Artie Anisimov in Hartford. And, um, their line was lighting it up. And I just went against him the whole game. And so you never know. You're going to catch a break. You got to change. It's all
Yeah,
about
he might,
competing,
yeah.
being competitive.
And adjusting. He might need to adjust his game
Yeah,
to the role that he's filling.
100%.
All right, another positive, Matthew Robertson.
Yeah.
This has been a really surprise development for the Rangers, I feel. I mean, not only has he done well since entering the lineup when Carson Ceci went on IR, but when Susie returned, Sullivan
Yeah.
opted to keep Robertson in the lineup over Urho Vakanainen. And that was really, really telling for me. I mean, I think Robertson has more than held his own at times through these first games of his.
Yeah.
And I mean, I sat down with him before he scored his first goal in Montreal. And I mean, he really is, I mean, he's beaming in such a way that like you could just tell how hard he's worked for this and how patient he's had to be. I mean, he told me he's waited a very long time for this, and he's just really grateful to have the opportunity. But I mean, he has seized it.
I'm trying to, I mean, over a couple hundred American League games, right? And he was in the WHL for quite a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not easy to make it into the NHL, and
No,
you got to keep
especially
that
a
belief.
defenseman.
Yeah, and keep that. You have to believe in yourself. Like you have to be your own advocate and understand. Like, yeah, I'll change, I'll do whatever you need me to do, but understand you got to be a killer. You got to understand, like, you got to go out and do it. And
Yep.
years of being told, all right, not yet, not ready, not good enough, is not an easy thing to do. So it's always a great story when a guy can come up and stand out. Like he looks solid.
Hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, a couple went off of him and went in the net. I don't
Yeah.
blame him for that. That's got a stick broken in half on one. There was a bit of a circus act going on in front of him on the first one. The second one, it's just Celebrini off his skate lace and then it elevates the puck and it's in the net. Like
Yeah.
he's right on him. There was no gap. He didn't get
Yeah.
walked. He didn't get turned around. I like his game, and I'm happy for him because it's a great feeling, and he earned it. Like he's earned
Hmm.
these games, and
100%.
you're not guaranteed anything. You play
Nope.
one game, you're an NHLer, so keep earning it.
Yeah, I remember during training camp him saying how you have your doubts when your chance just isn't coming. I mean, if
Yeah,
you think about it year after year, they would call everybody up but him. It
right.
just felt like he was never even a thought, honestly. Um, but it's here now and he's done well. I feel like I what I really like about his game is he closes opponents out on the perimeter really,
Yeah,
really well. Like he's a big, strong guy that can really overpower certain guys in this league, and he's shown that. And in that Montreal game, he took a bad bounce at the blue line, trying to keep the puck in, and it sent the Canadians on an odd man rush, and it ended up in the back of the net. But Sullivan talked about how it didn't rattle him. He just
yeah,
got right back to work, wasn't phased, and how tough that is for a young player,
yeah.
especially under his circumstances. So I imagine it was really, you know, it stood out to Sullivan a lot that he recovered from that kind of play and just wasn't phased for the rest of the night.
How contagious could that be to a
Yeah.
group that, they've gone through things and last year it spiraled so badly. Like a guy with that kind of character,
Hmm.
can't tell me that's not a great thing for the group.
It's what they want.
Yeah, perfect. So good for him. Igor's been lights out.
Hmm.
Um,
That's the most,
lights out.
yeah, that usually happens though. So
But like, oh, it's good to see. I wonder if if Gavrikov can kind of get a little bit more acquainted and adjusted. I don't know if he's dealing with something too. It looks like he's playing through something. He's just I know how good he can be. If you get that sort of sorted out on that top pair, Blake Schneider, like the defense could become a big strength of theirs if you just
yeah.
everybody's slotted where they need to be. With
I
that
talked to
Roberts,
Gavrikov too in Montreal, and he said that he didn't feel like he said not great was his start, was his assessment of his own start. So
yeah, I
I
don't. Well, I
think
mean,
that,
that's not a
yeah,
secret. He needs to be a little
yeah,
bit, give him a little bit
yeah,
more.
definitely.
But it's helped Adam Fox. Whatever he's doing, is Adam Fox has been better.
Yeah,
He looks more like Adam Fox again.
definitely.
So it's
Yeah,
frustrating how their home stuff. But hey, they're pretty good on the road. Even that Toronto game, like
yeah.
they just couldn't bury. I can't. Tough one in overtime.
And the
There's a
good
lot of, I'll
news,
tell you what, there's a lot of franchises right now be like, what the hell's going on?
no, it's true. I've seen so many writers like retweet my stuff and be like, "What a weird team! Like, what a bizarre like start to the season
It's,
for the
but
Rangers."
there's a lot of it because
It is.
us covering all the teams at the NHL network, people are like, what? And then some of these up and coming teams are maybe ahead of schedule or overachieving. And everyone's like, well, they're going to have to come down, right? And they're going to figure out their game, right? And all these different, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's happening,
Yeah,
but
who knows?
it's entertaining. It was like 79 goals last night.
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. All right. I think that's a good place for us to start. I am heading onto the road, Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton,
Oh,
Seattle.
nice.
So the good news is the Rangers are going back on the road. So,
Show us where are you going to do a thing where you're eating?
oh, I'm always eating on the road.
Yeah.
Um,
Vancouver, what a town.
no, no, it's supposed to rain the entire time we're there, though, unfortunately. So I hope I still get to see some pretty mountains.
Oh, bummer.
All right. Like and subscribe, comment down below. What do you think about the Ranger start? What's your biggest concern so far? Who is standing out to you? Let us know, and we'll chat again next week.